Welcome back. Today we're going to be starting the inequalities unit. We're going to be starting the inequalities unit with one-step inequalities, but I am not going to be the one bringing you one-step inequalities today. Today you're going to have a guest presentation given to you by Miss Adams. So let's go ahead and get started right now.
In this lesson, we'll discuss solving and graphing one-step inequalities. Please take out your one-step inequalities notes to fill in as we go. In example A, we'll solve the inequality negative 3.2 is less than 1.8 plus x. Our goal in solving the inequality is to get x by itself on one side of the inequality symbol. So here we'll get rid of 1.8 by subtracting it from each side of our inequality. When we subtract negative 3.2 minus 1.8, we get negative 5. We'll carry down our inequality symbol, less than, and then carry down the x that remains on the right-hand side. So this inequality solution means that x is greater than negative 5. We're able to graph this solution on a number line by labeling negative 5 in the center of our number line, filling in numbers on either side of it, and then plotting a point on the number line at negative 5. Since x is greater than negative 5, that means that negative 5 is not actually included in the solution set. So we'll use an open circle over negative 5, and then show an arrow going toward the right on our number line, since that's where the numbers greater than negative 5 are. Let's review the basics of graphing inequality solutions on a number line. The first step is that you'll draw and label a number line. The second step is that you will place an open or closed circle on the number line. You use a closed circle when you have greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to inequality symbols, because those solutions are actually included in the solution set. You use an open circle when you have greater than inequality symbols or less than inequality symbols, because that point would not actually be included in that solution set. Next, you draw an arrow to the right if x is greater than the value you get in your solution, and you draw an arrow to the left if x is less than the value you get as part of your inequality solution. Go ahead and try practice problem number 1 on your own. Pause the video while you solve and graph this inequality. Restart the video when you're ready to check your solution. The solution to practice problem number 1 is that x is less than negative 10. Notice on the number line, this is graphed using an open circle over the negative 10, and the arrow is drawn to the left to indicate that the solutions, the x values, are smaller than negative 10. Now try solving practice problem number 2 on your own. When you have a solution and graph for this inequality, please restart the video to check your work. When you solve this inequality, you'll see that 7 is less than or equal to x. This means that 7 is smaller than x. That implies that the solutions, the x values, are bigger than 7. This solution set includes 7, so we put a closed circle on top of the 7, and then draw an arrow to the right to show that the x values are greater than or equal to 7. When solving inequalities, we have a special rule for multiplying and dividing. If you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, you must switch the direction of the inequality symbol. So in your notes, please fill in if you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, you must switch the inequality symbol. We'll take a look at how this works in an example together. Let's take a look at example C to see if we have to switch the direction of this inequality symbol. In example C, we have that negative 25 is less than or equal to 5/7 m. To get m by itself, we'll multiply by the reciprocal of its coefficient. So we'll multiply each side by 7/5. When we multiply by 7/5, this cancels out with the 5/7, so we're left with just m on the right side. 7/5 times negative 25 on the left side gives us negative 35. Now, in this inequality, we actually multiplied each side of the inequality by a positive number, so we don't need to switch the direction of our inequality symbol. So for our solution, we'll just carry down the less than or equal to symbol. And our solution is negative 35 is less than or equal to m. The solution means that m is greater than or equal to negative 35. So on our number line, we can label negative 35 in the center, label some numbers on either side of negative 35, and for this inequality, we can show the solution set using a closed circle over the negative 35, since it is included in the solution set with the equal to part of the inequality. And we'll draw an arrow to the right to show that our solutions are greater than or equal to negative 35. We'll take a look at example D next. In example D, we have the inequality negative 2.4m is greater than 14.4. In this inequality, our goal is to get m by itself. To get m by itself, we're going to need to divide each side of the inequality by negative 2.4. Since we are dividing by a negative, our special rule for multiplying and dividing with inequalities applies here. On the left-hand side, we're left with just the variable m. On the right-hand side, 14.4 divided by negative 2.4 is negative 6. And we need to switch the direction of our inequality symbol since we divided both sides by a negative number. Our solution is m is less than negative 6. The solution means that m is smaller than negative 6. On a number line, we would show this solution by putting negative 6 in the center of our number line, labeling some numbers on either side of it. We will use an open circle over the negative 6, since we don't have an equal to part of our inequality. And to show that m is less than negative 6, we draw our arrow to the left, since that's the directions that where the numbers that are smaller than negative 6 go. Next, please try practice problem number 3 on your own. Pause the video while you work, and then restart the video when you're ready to check your solution and graph of this inequality. The solution to practice problem number 3 is that d is greater than negative 11. Notice in this inequality we multiplied each side by a positive number, so we don't switch the direction of the inequality symbol. On the number line, we show this with an open circle over negative 11 and an arrow going to the right to show values that are greater than negative 11. Please go on to practice problem number 4 and number 5 on your notes paper. When you are done, take your paper to your teacher to check before moving on to the next practice activity.
Thank you for watching that video on inequalities. If you like this video, go ahead and throw us a thumbs up. If you love this video, go ahead and sub. Otherwise, we will catch you in the next one.